Well, hey everyone, thanks for watching 4Color Commentary. I'm Mark Allen, and good to have you back. First thing you need to know is you just very well may see me fall down in this video because I'm sitting in a chair that has just about worn out and can't seem to fix it. So anyway, there's that. So there's adds some exciting anticipation of what might happen to the show. All right. One of the things I've been doing here lately, and I wanted to make you aware of, because it's a great program that actually Comic Tom is doing over at Comic Tom 101. If you haven't subscribed to his channel, if you haven't checked it out, do that. You'll thank me later. Anyway, I've been putting together a box for Comic Karma, and Comic Karma is just where collectors and fans send stuff in to Comic Tom, and then he uses that. Now, sometimes they send gifts into Comic Tom. But then he uses that stuff for Comic Karma just to send out to various collectors and people who like the videos and enter or comment on the videos, that kind of thing. It's just a giving back to the community, sharing our stuff with the community. That's a great concept today. Sharing stuff, that's not it's a concept that has not gone out of style. All right. So anyway, I've been doing a box of Comic Karma stuff. And give a quick look. I'm not anywhere near finishing it yet. Give you a quick look of what's in there. But anyway, if you do watch Comic Tom, hopefully he'll mention that sometime in the near future. All right, a few things, a few finds, a few comic book finds over the last few weeks, but that haven't gotten mentioned in other videos. Actually, one of the things that, one of the books that people have been, it hasn't really even been heating up. People have been wondering though. I mean, people have been asking for higher prices on it, but haven't necessarily been getting them on eBay the last I checked. And that is Thor number 617, the first appearance of Kid Loki. Now, I know I made a little while back, kind of made fun of the idea of Kid Loki. And understanding that, Loki as a child first showed up way back in Journey into Mystery. In the 60s, but with this book, I believe was published in 2010. I think that's right. 2013, 2010, somewhere in there. Anyway, this book though is Thor number 617. I found it for $3 at a Books A Million. I'd never been to a Books A Million before. I don't think I even knew they had comics, but they do, and so I wanted to point that out, that again, you can find the bargains out there. That was $3. That was less than cover price, which was $3.99. So, great deal there. And now, these other books are pretty much all, I think they're all, yeah, these are going to be all dollar books that I picked up at various stores and various, or a show or two the last several weeks. I went ahead and picked this up. Now, this is a Daredevil number 238, published in 1986. Now, this book, I remember, this doesn't even have a bag and board on it yet, but I really liked this story for a couple of reasons. It's actually an Arthur Adams cover, inked by Klaus Janson. That's a team up I don't think we've ever seen anywhere else before, but which is an interesting team up. Klaus Janson has I like his inking style, but it can be somewhat overpowering. It kind of overpowers, I believe, Art Adams' work in some aspects, not all, but in some aspects. But another reason I like this was it was a Daredevil versus Sabretooth, and this is an old Sabretooth character there. Before the costume change and the change in look that came in the early 90s. I guess the X-Men series of 90, 91, somewhere in there. But anyway, just a great fun story, drawn by Sal Buscema, and inked actually by Steve Leialoha, and that's a hard one to say, but I'm going to guess that Steve Leialoha comes from the islands, but I don't know that for sure. But he is one of the inkers that I always kind of liked to see ink Sal Buscema's work. But it is a Sal Buscema jam, and I guess I should mention the writer as well, Ann Innocenti as writer on there. But just a great action-packed fun story from the 80s. It was a chapter in the Mutant Massacre, or I guess an aside, the Mutant Massacre. I didn't read the Mutant Massacre even back then, so anyway, there you go. But it was a great standalone story. A few books that this one book that I got just because it struck me right. saw this cover, and it is Talent Showcase number 19. That cover, that is an amazing painted cover by Dan Atkins, and just an amazing kind of a, you could say futuristic, but guy's in a loincloth with his pet, large toothed tiger there, not quite saber tooth, but the the large moon, the small moon there, kind of gives it kind of an unearthly, maybe even futuristic feel to it. Interesting thing about this book that I did not know, and I need to take that tape off. By the way, public service announcement that I learned a long time ago by a guy named Terry. He used to have a YouTube channel called Kurgan Wins. Take that tape off of those sleeves, so that, especially just for your stuff in your collection, in your boxes, so that you ever have one of those catch and rip, and all of a sudden you've got a white skint mark on one of your comic book covers. That's an Oklahoma phraseology there, by the way, skint mark. And so anyway, don't let that happen to you as I stick that tape on the flap of a box behind me. All right. So anyway, back to Talent Showcase number 19 with the incredible Dan Atkins cover. This is actually the book in which the first Darwin Cook story, Darwin Cook drawn story, ever appeared. And when you look at it, it's this page right here, the splash page begins it. You can see there, Darwin Cook, I believe you can see that. Anyway, Darwin Cook, and you kind of look at some of that art, and you can see it. You can kind of see the Darwin Cook in there, and his style already coming through. But this is first, I believe, his first professional job. So anyway, first Darwin Cook, that was nice for a dollar book. First Darwin Cook artwork there. Now I picked these up just on a whim because, as I've mentioned before, I'm a gimmick cover fanatic. Sometimes to my detriment, but not this time. I got 3 copies of The Web of Spider-Man number 26. Had those amazing, just wonderful holograms on them. Drawn, of course, by John Romita and then made into a hologram. There we go. There we got the light on it. And so 3 of those. Of course, we know that they were doing those that month, and all the family, or the whole family of Spider-Man books, the 30th anniversary celebration, Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, Web of, and Spider-Man. I said these were Web. These are Spider-Man 26. I'm sorry. So Spider-Man 26 with the hologram cover. 30th anniversary celebration. And then Web of Spider-Man number 125. I'm just going to take this one out of its old bag with the hollow disc. That was a different one, and it was kind of cool. It was a little harder to make the light. These hollow discs, a little harder to make the light catch them the way you want them to. That one's supposed to have a shot of Spidey looking up at you, and it's just kind of hard to see that. But when the light is just right, on the 3rd equinox, as you bite your tongue on the left side of your mouth, you can see that hologram as it's supposed to appear. So, there you go. Now, that's really all in the way of new books. I was going to show you. It's been kind of slow lately, though I do have one other here that I'm going to open. Actually, got it on eBay. Oh, let me do this first. A while back, I mentioned the Walgreens line of Marvel helmets, just mounted die-cast helmets, and I showed the Captain America and the Black Panther. I finally located one other that I've been wanting. It is the Iron Spider helmet, and it is actually right here behind me. I'll grab the other 2 as well. So you have, and I've shown these before a few videos back. You have the Captain America and the Black Panther helmets, and they are, they are metal, die-cast metal. Got some good heft to them, especially the Black Panther. So now we have also the Iron Spider. Now, what's interesting about this is not the movie version of the Iron Spider, obviously. This is the comic book version. That's the comic mask. It's kind of the straight orangish red helmet with the yellow eyes, or is that just straight red? I think it looks orangish red. But anyway, so that's got about as much heft to it as the Black Panther helmet does, so that's cool. And so I thought I'd just show that. I think there's at least one more. I believe it's an Iron Man helmet in that run, and I hope to acquire it soon. But anyway, here we go with the eBay delivery. Now, this was a book I ordered on eBay, and get my knife out, and I'm going to tell you why I ordered it as soon as I get it open. But while I'm opening it, I spoke a while back. Somebody must be talking to me on Marco Polo. Anyway, I spoke a while back on the double cover Invaders comic, giant size Invaders comic that I was selling on eBay, and talked about how double covers were just driving some collectors nuts. They loved them. They loved them. And I mentioned how that book, when I was talking about it on the video, as I was driving in my truck, I mentioned that it had already hit 50 bucks, which was more than I expected, far and away. However, it went higher. At the end of the day, and at the end of the auction, I should say, that book garnered, not including shipping, $107. $107 for a double cover, giant size Invaders #1. All right. Shouldn't wave that knife around and hurt myself. But color me surprised, shocked, amazed, pleased. I'll cop to that. Yeah, I was pleased. Don't think I could have ever gotten that locally. But anyway, so there you have it. That was the deal there on the giant size Invaders double cover. My fellow comic collectors, they're crazy. I am too, though, for certain things. I thought telling that story would be enough for me to get this out, have this out. Almost. We're almost there. See if I can do this without cutting the actual contents. Oh, that's going to be tricky. Or myself. I'm not sure which I'd rather cut, the contents or myself. In this case, I'd rather cut the contents. Because it's nice, but it's not going to be, worth a hospital trip. Almost there. By the way, Captain Marvel movie. Getting lots of press lately. And not in a good way. I am not going to get into it. I'm not going to, I have, we all have opinions. I have them. I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to start any kind of I want politics kept off my channel. I don't like that stuff. But I will just say this. I'm rooting for the Captain Marvel movie. I want it to be good. I want it to be enjoyable. And I think that it can work with bringing in a hero that to this date the audiences haven't seen yet in the Marvel movie. I think it can work. The Marvel movies have done so much great stuff. The directors, producers, the actors. It's been an amazing run. I don't want it to be over, and I don't think it has to be. There's a lot of people saying that this is a new character that's going to come in and save the day. We don't really even know that she's going to save the day. I don't believe that we know she's going to single-handedly save everyone. But having said that, I'll just say this: identity politics. Identity politics themselves, I believe, hurt our equality. If we could just, and I'm even going to go further than I expected to, but if we could just learn to respect each other. Call racism, racism, call sexism, sexism, call homophobism, but, no matter what our individual beliefs, it goes back to loving others as you love yourself. Now, I think we need to have our individual beliefs, but, and those need to be respected. That's what America is all about. Have your individual beliefs, but treat people as you want to be treated. But vote the way you want to vote. Vote for the legislation that you want. That could, when the elections come out, if it goes your way, it goes your way. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But live to treat others well. But to do that, I believe to treat others well. We have to give people the freedom to have their opinions. So I'll just say all that. Just say, you know, that you're, man, Mark, you just opened a big can of worms, bigger than I expected. But let me, I just hate that stuff is getting into the latest Marvel movie. And that goes to my whole philosophy about comics and movies and that kind of thing. I don't think any creators should feel obligated to preach anything. I read comics for entertainment. I watch movies for entertainment. I don't watch them to be preached at. So anyway, I'm shutting the door on that. All right. So here's what came in from eBay, I should say. Doctor Strange. The name of the story is "What Is It That Disturbs You, Stephen?" This was actually published in, I believe it was 1996. Yes, that's right. And recently, a lot of P. Craig Russell, artist P. Craig Russell, and a lot of the P. Craig Russell Doctor Strange stories have been collected in a collection called What Is It That Disturbs You, Stephen? With new cover art by Russell and that kind of thing. And it's great, but most of the stories in that collection I have. This came out in 2016. I mean, I have most of those stories already in their original comic book form, so I don't really need to get it. But this was, what's interesting about this was a reimagining of a story done right here. Doctor Strange Annual #1 from 1976. I believe that's a Dave Cockrum cover. I didn't do my homework on this one before I came on. Yes, Dave Cockrum cover. Great cover in and of itself. Okay, got Clea in some kind of a bubble there, and Doc Strange trying to free her, trying to fight for her. But this was a reimagining of that. Some things the same, some things not, but man, just more beautiful P. Craig Russell art. I am a big fan of P. Craig Russell's artwork. Big fan of him for years and years. In fact, I discovered him while he was doing work I discovered him through his work on, years afterwards, on Marvel's Amazing Adventures, the War of the Worlds story, where he was doing all the Killraven work. And the character Killraven and his band, as they were fighting the Martians on Earth and fighting the aliens, that kind of thing. And it was just kind of an ongoing story, and it ran for several issues in Amazing Adventures back in the 70s. My friend and local comic shop retailer, who is still my local comic shop retailer, Michael McCormick, turned me onto that book, and he said this guy's art is just amazing, and I've been a fan ever since. In fact, speaking of that, what I did before I made this video was I featured a past review on those Amazing Adventures stories drawn by P. Craig Russell. I believe these stories were by Don McGregor. So anyway, check that out. It's featured now. It's featured content on my page for returning subscribers, and so check it out. Anyway, that's it. I hope I didn't go overboard on anything political. Here's how it is, guys. I just hate that side of stuff comes into the fun stuff and makes it not fun. Maybe that's all I should have said. It just seems to me, after years of going through, that it divides us more than brings us together. So, hey, you know what? Take the comic stuff I said and separate it from the political stuff I said, and I doubt that I'll ever bring up politics again. I just hate that it's affecting the Marvel movies. But hey, anyway, thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed, do that. Click that subscribe button and share the video. But anyway, and check out, whatever you do, check out Comic Tom 101. Find out all about Comic Karma, and watch a couple of his shows. He talks about it all the time. It's a great way to share your comics with others, and just to share what you love. Maybe you'll turn someone else onto something that they love as well. So anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.